Welcome back. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. I love Thanksgiving. It's such a wonderful time to count our blessings. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the food that I'm able to eat. Thank you for the bed I'm able to sleep in. And these are very basic things that not everybody has. And so, oh my God, thank you for these. Thank you for meditation, for this ability and understanding to meditate. Thank you for Kriya Yoga, for this lineage of souls that were willing to share what they had. Thank you for the deep states which I am able to enter. Oh my God, what a blessing. What a blessing in my life. And you just start going down the list and you realize how blessed you are. And that's something that we don't always do. Because we have a prefrontal cortex, which is designed to find the next problem. And you want to regulate that part of your brain and make sure it doesn't run away with you. Because otherwise, we won't be able to create the little bit of luck we need in our lives. So I want to talk about that. How an attitude of gratitude can help to build that kind of luck that we would all like in our lives. So let's get into it. So like I said, we all have that prefrontal cortex, that front part of the brain right here, and its purpose is to throw you out into the future so you can see what might happen, what might be a problem. So you're sitting there, your ancestors are sitting there in the jungle, right? And one guy goes out and a tiger leaps out and eats him and grabs him and runs away. You go, oh, that's not a good idea for me to go down the same path. How are you able to figure that out? Well, you imagine yourself going down that pathway. Your prefrontal cortex throws you out. Okay, in the future, I'm going to walk down that same path and maybe I will get eaten by a tiger. And that is how your prefrontal cortex works. It throws you into the future. If I do this, what might happen? And it's doing that constantly. If I walk in front of the bus will run me over. If I say this to my boss, I will get fired. All of that is running through your prefrontal cortex. All the time, it's throwing you into these future situations and you're encountering the danger which might be there. Very, very valuable. We all need this. It's absolutely necessary to be human and to live in this life. Very, very valuable. And yet, in a modern world where there are no tigers and there are no lions and there are no bears. Well, actually, I grew up with bears, but I lived in northern Idaho and I think I saw one bear once. And mostly I saw moose. God, they're so big. They're so huge. So we live in this modern world, which relatively speaking is gargantuanly more safe than the world that your ancestors lived in. And so you still have that same prefrontal cortex, which is spinning, throwing you into the future, looking for any kind of threat which might come to you. And this is why the whole world tends to be more negative than it is positive because of that process. We're always looking, we're always hunting. What is the thing which is going to eat me next? And yet you live in a world without tigers. You don't need it to run amok as much as your ancestors needed it to run amok. It was just survival. And our modern world is pulling us up out of that survival, out of that tribalism, out of that selfishness, back into the heart. This is the journey going up, right? It's all pulling us in this direction, and yet we still have this prefrontal cortex just spinning, 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 spinning. How do I interrupt this process so I'm not so constantly negative? Occasionally I get calls with people who are very worried about the future. And I ask, What are the problems which you see? And they tell me all these imaginary things which are way out in front of them, not actually real. And I say, which one of those are right here now, ready to jump up and eat you? Oh, well, none of them. So you're living in a constant state of fear, a constant state of worry, a constant state of depression because of all these things which you are imagining way out in front of you. Again, that's the job of the prefrontal cortex. I have to know all the things which are going to eat me. And yet none of those things in this modern world are right here in front of you going to eat you. So you're living in this constant imaginary world which is not real. Oh, but it was on the news, it was on the internet, my buddy said, he told me this thing, and I have to be afraid of all of these things, right? That's the prefrontal cortex run amok. So how do I have a prefrontal cortex and yet not be led astray? How do I do that? How do I create that balance? Gratitude. Gratitude. Oh my God, I have HRV resonance. I can sit down and calm my nervous system in a heartbeat. I can sit down and sit very still and begin to encounter the freeze response. I can notice those 4 proofs and know that I have hooked into my own parasympathetic nervous system, and I can do all of that very, very easily. Well, right away, that is a spiritual gain beyond what most people encounter in a journey of 40 years learning to meditate. And you think I'm joking? I'm not joking. It's for real. I meet people all the time and they tell me, yes, Forrest, it took me 20 years. It took me 40 years to reach this point. And even then it was not consistent. I couldn't do it every single time. With HRV resonance, sitting very still and noticing the 4 proofs, I can enter into that parasympathetic system every single time I sit to meditate. Do you understand how powerful that is? How much control that gives you over your nervous system and your consciousness? It's insanely huge. And I'm not trying to pump myself up. I'm trying to pump you up. You have that. You own that. That is yours. It is a treasure beyond compare. And this is yoga. Yoga is supposed to be systematic and reliable, a science which you can rely on. I've given you all Navi Kriya. I can sit and I can do Navi and I can overcome every single fear with Navi. That's amazing. That's amazing. And it's a journey, so it takes a little time, okay? But it does work. It overcomes your anxieties. It overcomes your fears. It's a treasure beyond compare. So there's always going to be something that we can be thankful for. And what's so amazing about the meditative path is you start cultivating these spiritual riches, which come good times, come bad times, you still have them. The worst of times, things are taken away from you. Loved ones are taken away from you. Riches are taken away from you. But the spiritual treasures cannot be taken away from you. They are yours. HRV resonance is yours. Sitting very still is yours. The 4 proofs are yours. The parasympathetic system is yours. It cannot be taken away from you. The left amygdala cannot be taken away from you. The right hippocampus cannot be taken away from you. That little bit of bliss and that little bit of expansion, you can touch those every single day. Oh, it's not deep enough. I didn't go far enough. I didn't have that elusive samadhi. It doesn't matter. If you are touching the hem of the divine every single day, it is yours. It's yours. And what a treasure. What a treasure beyond compare. There's so much to be grateful for. And if we will just spend 5 minutes and just write them down, just make a little list. What can I possibly be thankful for? And it's almost endless if you start to think about it. The roads you use, the car you use, the house you use, the electricity you use, the internet that you use, the television and the TV shows that you use. How many hours Just endless hours went into the creation of all these things that you can live in a modern life and enjoy all of that. And that's just the surface, you see. There's this whole spiritual world which you can be grateful for. And if you just start listing those things out, it will start to blow your mind. Because usually we're just up here in the prefrontal cortex, oh, worry, 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 oh, fear, fear, fear. That's what it's designed for. But we don't live in the jungle anymore. So you can calm it down a bit, right? Just a bit. Just 5 minutes every day. Make that list. We'll go through your list. Make your list bigger each day. Oh my God, what a treasure. What a treasure to interrupt all of that negativity going through your prefrontal. That's its job. Its job is to find problems and then solve them. So why does that make you lucky? I'll tell you my favorite story from Tad. Tad James taught me NLP and timeline therapy, and it was an amazing teacher. And he said he was going on a flight, standing in line. He lived in Hawaii, and then he would travel to the United States, and he'd teach, and then he'd travel back. So he's standing in line. It's this really long line. Something's delayed, and there's a couple leaving Hawaii. Both of them are a bit overweight, and they're talking to each other, and they're saying, oh my God, this was so great, and we were walking, we were going on hikes, and I feel so much better. This has been so good for us, and we ate that healthy food while we were here. I think it was really helpful to me, and you know what, I'm gonna come back, and I think we should make some changes. Yeah, we should start exercising just a little bit every single day. I think we should come back and we should change our diet and start getting a little more healthy. And they're on this roll. And Tad is just admiring that. They're right in front of him. He can't help but hear what they're saying. And he's admiring that, how wonderful it is. This is going to be a transformative moment in their lives. And then all of a sudden, right in front of this couple, this guy walks in, and it's obvious this guy has spent hours and hours working on his muscles, growing his muscles. He's a very built up kind of guy, right? And the couple in front of Tad becomes completely silent. They start muttering, and he hears these strange words. Oh, what a meathead. Oh, he's probably a jerk. And on and on and on and on. They start muttering and criticizing this guy. They don't know him. They just know he's built up. And they're jealous because they feel bad about the weight that they have. And it completely dissipates and interrupts the positive process that they were running. They were in this moment. And if they'd gone home and started those good habits, it would have been transformative for their lives. It doesn't matter that they were overweight. It matters that they interrupted this positive process by jealousy. And they lost out. They lost out on the positive process that they were building. And the same thing happens to us when we when we look down the road and we are convinced there is nothing but bad things. Our prefrontal cortex has run away with us. It has run amok. And we don't have any lions or tigers or bears to hook ourselves on and say, oh, this is an actual threat. Okay, right now, there is nothing there. There is no threat. I had this huge life threat, and now I have none. Oh, I can relax. We don't do that. We don't have the lion or tiger and bear, and so the prefrontal cortex just keeps reaching out and reaching out and reaching out, and 5 years from now, a year from now, something horrible might happen. Might. Not going to. Might. That's just something made up in your head. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. And so you're living in that, and you're interrupting your own luck if it runs too much, too often. And so you want to interrupt that with gratitude, with thankfulness. And you'll notice that better things start popping into your head. Rumi said, live life as if everything is rigged in your favor. That's the opposite, right? Instead of going out and seeing, how can I fail? He's going out and saying, how can I succeed? Everything is rigged in my favor. One of my favorite kahuna, Serge King, he said, you have the power in the present moment to change limiting beliefs and consciously plant the seeds for the future of your choosing. As you change your mind, you change your experience. Beautiful, right? So start planting those seeds of gratitude every day. Make your list every day. See how it changes your frame of mind. If your frame of mind is dark and fearful, start planting gratitude inside of yourself. Ask yourself, is this fear that I'm imagining, is it real? Or is it just in my head? It's just imaginary. It's just something I'm thinking about. It's far away from me. Maybe it has nothing to do with me. It's not actually in my world and I am preoccupied with it. I'm killing myself with it. I'm killing my consciousness. I'm killing my mood. I'm killing my attitude. I'm killing my future with it because I'm so convinced of the bad things because of this run amok prefrontal cortex. The universe running through you is a walking miracle, but you can't see it until you are grateful. So just be a little grateful at a time and see what it does for your heart, see what it does for your life. Get out of those imaginary scenarios which are not yours and just live here. Be thankful for here and see what it does. Big hugs to you and your family this holiday weekend. I wish you all the best. I hope you loved this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.